to the folks.
BBJ and Humble.
Dre is at the door, ready to make an entrance, so back on up. Cause you know we're about to rip shit up. Give me the microphone first so I can bust like a bubble. Compton and Long Beach together.
What a do, young guns. I'm your MC Hizzy Rizzy. MC Hizzy Rizzy in the house with your host, the Big Bone Beauty, Big Booty Judy. What up, BBJ?
What up, Hizzy Rizzy?
Yo, today we're going to be teaching them about the best tanks at Tiers 4 and Tiers 5, right?
That's right.
What makes those the best tanks?
They are very well protected, they are very forgiving, and they're great for new players to learn on.
And should those young guns be racing up the line and getting to the next tank and the next tank? What are they doing with these tanks?
No. You stay here. You get these tanks and you stay. Put 1,000 games in. I don't care. Don't fly up to tier 10. Please learn the tactics. Learn side scraping. Learn hold down. You can do everything with these tanks. This is where it all starts for you.
And so what tank are we going to start with first?
We're going to start with the DW2.
Strap up, hang on, roll out.
As I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I'm riding in my DW2 Hizzy Rizzy. Tell us about the DW2.
Well, this is a tank that is just mobile. It's got a great gun, it's got decent armor, and it's all around a great package at Tier 4. What do you think?
I think it's a fantastic Tier 4 Heavy. It's great for new players to learn on. To learn all your basic tactics at a lower tier. So when you move up to Tier 10, all those high tiers, boom, you know what you're doing.
Okay, and so you see we're going to learn some tactics. How is it going to teach us to go hull down?
This tank, well, you have to protect your lower plate on this tank. So we'll see that in a minute when I'm hull down. This tank is great for side scraping, being hauled down. It's got the mobility. You can keep up to push to where you need to go on the maps. It forces bounces really easily, especially on those little pew-pew medium tanks. It's just a really great tank.
Very nicely, and I see you're going up to the hills here. Is that because you got gun depression a little bit? I mean, it seems that this portion of the map is the most frequent place that people go.
Well, exactly. I know where they're going because they're mainly mediums and lights. And so I'm going to hit them head on. And even though we're low tier, I ain't scared. I ain't scared. You know why I ain't scared?
Why you ain't scared?
I ain't scared because I got the humble rumbles behind me.
Well, it's only good when he is behind you. Now, that being said, this tank does seem to work pretty well in a platoon. It seems we can cover each other's behinds and work together. I'm most curious about, when you decide to move up and when you decide to side trip and be hauled down, how do you make that judgment? How do you make that call in this tank?
Well, right here on this map, this is a great hold down spot. If you don't get here and they push past it, you're a goner. They're just going to demolish your team. So you have to hold them back. I'm trying to protect my lower plate here. And that just showing them the top of my turret that's being held down. This tier 5 pinned me because I was looking the other way. It happens. But we see this little SU coming in here, so we're gonna go and we're gonna get him.
I like that bounce you just got there.
Mm-hmm.
I see you were backing up and not really trying to shoot him there for a second. What was that?
Well, I was reloading, so there wasn't a point in taking a hit, but I was also side scraping. If he were to shoot me, all he could hit was my tracks. He would track me and for the most part, do no damage.
Well, that seems like a pretty friggin' sweet deal there.
Yes.
And now here, I think we're exhibiting the mobility of the tank. You get the low tier ramming kill on your higher tier counterpart. And we kind of get our boots going. I don't know expressions, but we get going here. And it just goes to show how mobile this tank can be.
It really is. Yeah, you see him having a little bit of trouble pinning that tier 5, but we get it. And it's great when you're tuning. Once again, focus fire, shoot the same targets, especially with these DW2s. They got a heck of a bite to them. And you can take down a tier 5, tier 4, doesn't matter. You can take anybody down quickly.
I see that we were kind of competitive in this game, even though we were low tier. When we're high tier, should we play the same way or should we play more aggressively? How do we play it?
When you're high tier, I mean, yeah, we play pretty dang aggressively in this one, and you can do the same, especially being high tier. But as you can see in the game results, it wasn't a mastery game. You don't always have to do that. But we won. That's your main focus, is to learn and to win and to get to those key positions in the map so your team can push in. And that's what we did, and we dominated at low tier.
And it's very important that when you're platooning to try to make sure to steal your partner's masteries. Get as much damage so they can't master their tanks.
You always steal my masteries. Anyways, guys, check this tank out. Stick with it. Play crap load of battles in it. Learn. It's great. It's great at angling. It's great. I mean, everything is great for the for a lower tier. You learn this stuff and then move up. But stick with it. Honestly, do a couple hundred battles in it. Get comfortable with all your tactics, and it's slow enough where you can learn to watch the minimap, see where everybody's at, learn to push. There's a lot of things you can learn at these low tiers that'll really, really help you with high tier games.
If you're chickadee checking yourself, but you want to wreck somebody else, or the Hetzer's the tank for you, tell us, BBJ, what's so special about this Mamma Jamma?
Derp. And derp. That's all you need to know about this tier 4 TD, is it is a great derp tank. Derp.
What is derp?
Derp is a large caliber, inaccurate gun tank. That's what it means. That means you can one-shot friggin' pretty much anything. Not anything, but a lot. How about that?
And I see here that your reticle, the thing that's showing the reload and the big old dots, is massive. Is that what derp is?
Yes.
Derp is when... Okay.
I have a big reticle.
Looks like you wouldn't even be able to hit this broadside of a barn with that thing, but I think it's going to work out a little bit in this game for us, or rather for you. So what are some of the key characteristics of large caliber and accurate guns? What about their alpha? Is there alpha? Does their alpha make up for this massive reticle?
Yes, the alpha on this Hetzer is 330.
Ah!
Yeah, you see that? Okay, let's talk about armor. I had to switch over to heat to hit that Hetzer. It is great facing forward, but you see they're pinning me in the butt. The front of this tank has 60 millimeters of protection. It's thick, 60 millimeters thick. The sides are 20 and the rear is 8. So you definitely want to be facing forward on the reds, and don't show them your sides and don't show them your butt.
I see it's got a very nice slope on the front of it too, which helps with that armor.
It does. It has a 7-degree gun depression on this tank, which is pretty freaking awesome.
Oh, it means we can protect that lower plate, like the same way if that guy was hulled down that you had shot earlier. Mm-hmm. Maybe his lower plate wouldn't be sticking out, and it would have been harder for us to pen him. And I see here you're moving over to the support. You're not pushing all the way around. You're not YOLOing in. You're not frontlining. Why are you staying further back? And what is special about this TD that makes you do that?
Okay, well, I'm staying back because if you can see on the screen, I have a 15.6 reload. It is a very long reload in this tank. So me pushing in, it's going to do nothing. I can't shoot anybody. I can take some hits, but with us, being low tier, it's not going to help anybody it's really not. So here, what we're doing is we're just playing the support tanks. We're kind of using everybody as bait, which is what you have to do in a dirt tank, and we're knocking them down.
And it seems important that when we learn about TDs and how to learn about TDs, and especially derp guns, in general, not all TDs are derp, but many of them are, that it's important that with those long reloads to sit back, and it's important to know that each shot counts. That's why when you miss, it's very, very costly. And so you want to kind of use this Hetzer as an opportunity to learn that you don't shoot the moment you have it. Let your reticle shrink a little bit, and it kind of gets you in that mindset and get you a little comfortable of like here, you didn't just snapshot. You waited for it to reset a little bit. You waited for it to close in a little bit, rather than just going like, oh, I see him fire. Because you're going to miss most of your shots doing that. You will. And I have a big downfall with me. When I started playing, I got into a very bad habit. And I loved hearing the sound of the gunshot. So I would get out of sniper mode when I shot. And I'm trying to reteach myself to stop doing that. But you can see me ever so often doing that. And it's just a really bad habit. Please do not form it, because I miss a lot of shots because of it. She makes it look good. I was gonna say though, realistically, it just goes to show that even when you're a super unicum like yourself, that you kind of are still learning no matter what. You kind of always got something that you can change, something you can learn. And we were all at the days of the head, so now she's at the point where she's got letting some habits. You let some habits get to you, and truthfully, it does look good. It does kind of look snazzy there.
Well, I just like the boom. I like the sound, so that's why. Anyways, we sat back here in this game and, kind of baited the AT tank. I don't know what AT2. I don't know what it was, but and here we go. Yeah.
I mean, it was a hell of a game, and just something to keep track of. Learning how to stay back, learning how to protect your lower lower plate and lower weaker portions, and recognizing that just because you've got a big gun doesn't mean that you can do whatever you want.
You can't.
And again,
you cannot be on the front lines in a TD. When your team needs you to push up to use your health points, that's a great time to do it. But other than that, you are a TD with a long reload, and most of them are not well protected. This Hetzer is, besides the lower plate, but if you push into an open area or on the front lines and you've got mediums and lights around you, they're going to COD you. They're going to circle of death you. And your sides and your butt on this tank are weak, and they're going to take you down like that. So try to stay back and stay protected.
And most importantly, remember, number one rule of platooning is steal your partner's masteries.
Oh my God. Look at you, 283 kills. It's ridiculous. Ridiculous.
I got derp. Derp got me. I didn't get derped. I've missed many shots there.
Derp.
Arm me with harmony.
Humble Rumble, tell us about the M4 Sherman.
The M4 is an American Tier 5 medium tank that is one of my favorite tanks in the game. I originally got it because I love the sound of the gun. It was my first Tier 5, and then I just immediately fell in love with this thing. It's got probably atrocious DPM. It's got amazing penetration, but it's kind of average all the way around, but average in all the right ways.
Cool. So, why did we choose this tank to be on the list?
Well, when I say average in all the right ways, this is the perfect map. This is absolutely brilliant way to showcase it. The gun depression is what makes this tank so great and so amazing. Its armor isn't particularly special. There isn't anything that is completely that stands out. But with the gun depression, with the 12 degrees of gun depression, you can only expose your turret. You've got a massive mantlet that provides quite a lot of extra armor. So it's not just your turret armor, but you've also got spaced armor in front. Spaced armor is kind of like, imagine like a little bit of a bubble in front of your actual real armor. And so it creates this monster where at the angle that you're going up, they only see your turret. If they see any of your hull, it's an automatic bounce because of the angle of the hull already. And it just creates this perfect package of being able to look at this. What other tank can you just peek over the ridge here? Granted, your partner is getting lit up because he's not a very good player. but I mean, it's just one of those tanks where you can go onto ridge lines and really learn how to hull down, because your hull, when it's straight, you see that guy stuck out, you had his whole tank presented to him, or he presented his whole side to you, and all of him you could pen. All of it, look at him. He's easily pennable. Whereas you are only showing your turret, are only taking the shots when you can take those shots, and absolutely demolish him. You're firing on the reload, and you can get yourself into situations, and if your partner lets you, you can get yourself into situations that allows you to do these kinds of things.
And tell us about the mobility on this tank.
Well, the mobility is it's not the fastest, so you will be outrun by Leos, and you'll be outrun by quite a lot, but it is very, very good. It's middle of the pack. It's got great traverse numbers. It spins quickly, so you can't get COD'd by anything. Both its turret and its tracks, hull traverse, are incredibly good. And on top of that, your dispersion values, how how much your bloom changes from when you're moving are the best in class. So they're very low. So you're allowed the ability to move around. Yeah, 18. I think I can top that.
Yeah, it's not a derp tank, so don't shoot AG at toasters because you'll get 18. I've been playing too many TDs.
And it does have the derp gun, but do not use it because it has no penetration whatsoever. So you can get really sucked in at the lower tiers with the derp. But the top gun is just fantastic. All around, you want to use your mobility to get yourself into a hull down position in which you can just absolutely start abusing people left and right. I mean, it really is one of those tanks that you can just, if you play it correctly, you can't do poorly in it. And yet again, you got to stay number one rule, steal your partner's masteries.
It's what you're best at.
Well. I don't think anyone is surprised to see this Mamma Jamma on our list. This is the baddest straight rider of them all. Tell us, BBJ, what is this monster?
This is the Tier 5 Heavy KV1. It is a freaking beast. It is the most OP tank at Tier 5.
And what can we expect? What kind of gameplay, what kind of game style how do you run this tank? What makes it good?
Boy, I just run it. I mean, it's great at, side scraping, being hull down, everything. This tank is just phenomenal. The front armor on it is 75 millimeters thick, side 75, and the rear is 70. But the hull, the turret on it, 110 millimeters thick. So if you can play this thing hull down, boy, you gonna rock it. It's great.
And the gun? What do we do with the gun?
Well, there's many different guns to choose from. There's 4 different guns. I run the Tier 6, the bigger gun, and I think you run the Pew Pew, the Tier 5. Which one is that?
57 millimeter. 57 millimeter.
Right.
What are the differences between the two?
Well, I have the Kaboom, and you have the Poo Poo.
This is very true. And with the Kaboom, is the Kaboom derpier or is it still pretty accurate?
It's still pretty accurate. Your reticle's not huge. You do have to wait for it to shrink down, but it's good.
And the Pew Pew, I've heard that it's got, I don't know, maybe the best DPM out of any heavy in tier. Yeah. Is that true?
Well, as you can tell, you can run either one, and at the end of this game, you'll find out who's better. I'm just saying.
And this is a type of tank that does actually work as a platoon, right?
Yes. It's great. 2 KV1s are fantastic together. And even if they are a Unicum player, anything, you come across a KV1 and it totally makes you take a step back. Whoa. And you have to reevaluate what you're doing and reposition.
To say, it's one of those superstars that it's not just a good tank, it resets the tempo of the game. If you run into it, you have to reevaluate it. One, because you initially can't really tell what gun it's using unless you get hit by it or you can hear it. And 2, because it's gonna punish you no matter what.
Yes, absolutely it is. This tank is great at forcing bounces. It has, 7. The way I have mine set up, 770 hit points on it, and so you can take a few hits and still keep rolling. And it just freaking bounces everything.
What's remarkable is that it was 2 minutes into the game and it was 3v6. It was essentially double the enemies, all pretty healthy, and we were healthy ourselves. But we're kind of, they had to allot all their attention to one, me in this case, in order to pound it down. You can't fight 2 KV1s at the same time, can you?
They're doing a really good job of focusing you out. They really, really are. They left me unharmed, which is their downfall, but that's okay. They'll learn. Now, okay, earlier you saw this tank just fly past me, right? I focus still on the guy behind you. That's what you have to do. You can't just spin your turret and look around at tanks. You can't do that. You have to focus one target and take them down. Take them out, and that's what we did here.
And what made you choose the other guy first?
Because he was the one that was hurting you. I was trying my best to keep my partner alive, and he was the one that was pinning you. So I was going to take him out first, regardless of who drove behind me or anything. I had to focus that guy out.
As I say, it's still pretty impressive. I know there's a very short engagement right there at the end, but without a driver and without your tracks, you still have just enough mobility to come around that corner. And unfortunately, I broke the number one rule, and I didn't steal your master.
No, you didn't, but you stole my freaking raisin. I ran over there as fast as my little KV1 would go to keep you alive, and you took my raisin. You took it.
Well, what's important to understand as well is if you see on the next screen here, you have, I believe, you had a shot at him. Yeah, you damaged everyone, which means you had your chance to ammo rack him. You just didn't take it.
Now, my personal choice is the big gun. I like it. There's a reason you like the pew pew because it's got great DPM. The reloads on it's really, really fast. So it's all in what you want. But this tank can handle both guns. You can choose. And
platoon together.
Yes.
And platoon together, it makes it tricky for players to know, oh, KV1, the little gun hit me. I pull back and they push up, and there's another KV1 there. They're expecting the little gun, and pow, you punish them. I mean, together they're phenomenal.
Yeah, this tank is I want to keep saying this to you guys. This tank is great for new players. Stay here. Play 500 battles in this tank. Learn everything you can possibly learn. Angling, side scraping, hull down, all of it. Watching your mini map. This tank allows you to do it. It slows you down. You're not really going to YOLO. You can't really YOLO unless you just purposely are YOLOing in this tank. But it's good enough to get you where your team is and just kick butt. And like we said, even if it's a Unicum player on the other side, if they see a KV1 roll in, they're like, whoa, and they back up. Kind of like a high tier T95. You know, you just got to reevaluate. You got to stop what you're doing and push back and reevaluate. So if your team is there, don't go off on your own. Freaking get up where your team is. Be the distraction. That's the most important thing if you're in a heavy or, you know, a badass tank. Be that distraction. Let your teammates take the hit points and let your teammates back off and, you know, reevaluate everything. And you can totally kick butt.
And this is our list. This is user rated, user approved. We put out a survey on Discord. We put out a survey in the forums. Next video, we're most likely to have a survey there, so keep an eye out. Like and subscribe to Twitter as well. We'll have a link in the description, and you will know when the next survey is coming out. These are all tanks that have weak spots that will be abused by experienced players. But if you learn how to hide them, then you'll become an experienced player yourself, and you'll succeed in every friggin' tank you drive.
That is correct. Especially learn it now. Stay down here. Don't rush up. Don't go and get your first tier 10 tank and expect to be great in it because you're not going to know anything. You have to learn this stuff with these tanks that we've listed. And I really appreciate and want to thank everyone that gave their input on what tanks to choose. These are all great players with great input that they gave us, and that's kind of how we made our list and what we think is the best. So really thank you all very much for making this possible.
Good luck on the battlefield. Let's go blow up some tanks!
Have a good one.